See, test. Okay. Welcome everybody to week 4 of the NCPBL. We're halfway through the season. It's crazy. It's been flying by. Right now, let's look at our standings. After it's all been settled this week, we got Houston in first, followed by Lavender Town, and then the WPT, greatest name in the league. And then we got 3 teams at 2-2: Chicago, Orlando, and Miami. And then finally rounding out, we got Hartford and Baltimore. So, yeah, it was a pretty crazy week. A lot of really good games. Also, a lot of pretty quick turn games as well. Overall, like a lot of them didn't even make it to mid-20s, which is pretty incredible. So let's just get into it. First game was Tyler and myself Thursday night. So leading into this game, I was pretty open this weekend. I could have played whenever. And we got to Wednesday and we're like, all right, let's play Friday night or something. And then all day Thursday, I'm thinking about the game and I just texted him. I was like, hey, I'm just sick of thinking about this. I don't want to flip back and forth on anything anymore. Let's just play tonight. So we just ripped the Band-Aid off, got it out of the way so both of us stopped thinking about it. He brought some really cool sets. I was not expecting Araquanid against me, but it actually matched up really well against what I brought. He was running Mystic Water on it, which took me a second to realize what the item was, since it did 46% of my Mandibuzz, which is just unreal. If he was banded, he may have just won the game if he was able to secure a 2-hit KO and Mandibuzz from full health. Assault Vest Thundurus put me behind really, really quickly. I was running a really bulky Nidoking with max special attack, Life Orb, and every calc I ran, I was like, all right, Thundurus dies to Ice Beam, we're chilling, I'm just going to throw off a hit. We'll talk about that play when we get there, but he ends up living and chunking Nidoking down. I basically have to sack it, and I lost a really solid Coco answer. So I had to pull some magic out of my butt to get around that. There wasn't a whole lot of cheese. He missed a Toxic on me. And got a couple defense drops on me that were pretty critical, but overall it didn't really matter too much, which was nice that we didn't have a bunch of crits that jacked us up. So yeah, I got really far behind right here. Leading Nidoking, it beat everything for the most part other than Araquanid, and that's what he went with, which was a good call. I couldn't believe it this lived, that it was AV. I didn't even think about it in the moment. But yeah, I didn't bring any hazards either, so I wasn't going to be able to get any stealth rock damage on him. Right here, I get a pretty huge crit. In hindsight, the crit obviously mattered to get the kill there. It did allow him to kind of abuse light screens a little bit more. Just immediately getting the switch out from it. The crit was still important because now I can spam psychic moves on him between Starmie and Necrozma and Lele, which was nice. I was actually when he switched in the Grimmsnarl originally, I had my finger hovered over Surf for I don't know, probably 30 seconds. You can see my time right here. I'm thinking about this next move coming up. Switching Starmie into Thundurus, I was like, all right, how obvious is the Grimmsnarl switch? And I was really close. If I got an analytic boosted Surf on Grimmsnarl, that probably would have just knocked it out. I don't know the exact calc on that, but I definitely would have killed it on the next turn after light screen anyway. But he made a good play switching in, calling the psychic move. I go into the boy Markiplier because we all smashing. Yeah, so I don't have Nidoking anymore, meaning I don't have a good Coco or Thundurus answer. So I just have to really play careful here. I end up getting Clefable Toxic, which is totally fine. It wasn't going to do a whole lot for me at this point. I was really debating the teleport right there because I thought he was going to switch out of Araquanid, but in hindsight, he didn't really have a reason to. So it honestly wasn't too bad that I took that liquidation because I needed to get Mandibuzz in for free anyway. So that kind of worked out, but Yeah, and then we start playing like the terrain war, trying to get psychic terrain up for my guys. He's trying to get electric up for him. Clefable's useless at this point, so I just gotta toss it. Let's see, I think I want to say I Psyshock into the Gudra here. Yep. And so he's up a Mon right now. I was really trying to just take a Sludge Wave from Gudra here, because I wanted to get Necrozma in and Dragon Dance twice, and I would have been able to sweep from there if I was able to get it in on Gudra. Kartana, since I have Prison Armor as my ability, Kartana's knockoff, if that's what he went for, it was not gonna... I think it was gonna do like 75% or something, based off his Jolly spread. So if I got 2 Dragon Dances off, I would have lived a hit from Cart and then killed everything else. But he didn't let me set up. I was really trying to figure out how to get in to do that, but he just kept acid spraying here, and I was like, dude, you... I was like, all right, time to get rid of it. I don't know. I could have probably just went Necrozma, but I didn't want to take an acid spray and then take another hit, because I definitely wouldn't have lived a knockoff at that point. So I just had to play my sack there with Starmie. He told me that he thinks sacking Coco was a little bit of a misplay. I kind of agree. Like, I don't know. I feel like nothing on his team. If he took a Psyshock with Kartana, I would have foul played and killed it after it got a Beast boost. He sacks Thundy. He keeps Coco around. Maybe he's in a little bit better of a position. You know, because he can like Dark Pulse into Necrozma or something. I don't know. If I don't get flinched, I just Dragon Dance and I outspeed him and then kind of win from there. I don't really know. That's a little hazy. I don't think it was his worst play at all, though, to sack Coco. And here, I'm looking at his team. I'm like, okay, if I can get rid of Thunderous, I should be fine to get Mandibuzz in and clean up. I'm at 56% now, and I remember testing it with Tommy. If he was Jolly Scarfed, I need at least a minimum of 33% on Mandibuzz to be able to live a hit. I think it was 33% to live a hit. And that was even if he was like +1 and used Leaf Blade. So I needed to... I couldn't just switch Mandibuzz in at this point. Now, if I did switch it into the Leaf Blade, I would have been fine. But I was kind of expecting a Smart Strike at this point. Crit definitely didn't matter. Alright, so he boosts. I know I'm good based off of that. I go for the foul play. So right here, I think if he just attacked me, he may have 2-hit KO'd me. You know what? I'm just gonna pull the calc. No. All right, so this is what I do like in the game. If you guys aren't familiar with the calc, I'd highly recommend using it. Leaf Blade, and then you can import your Pokemon down in here, and then you can just show what you have. So I got Mandibuzz here at +1. A Leaf Blade was going to do up to 29%, so he did have a chance to 2-hit KO me with Leaf Blade. Yeah, I mean that. If I'm at 56%. What's the percentage to 2-hit KO? Okay, so he didn't really have a good chance to 2-hit KO me there. So foul play probably was my best play regardless. Because then I could have roosted, and then I obviously caught the Thunderous on the switch. So here is a big... Yep. Here's the defense drop. I'm like, all right, we're sick. We are sick. Make sure I'm not missing anything else on this. We're good. Yep. I kind of forgot that it got Leech Life, and it went back up to way higher health than I anticipated it. I'm like, all right, time to just roost up. Pray I don't get any defense drops. The Toxic Mist there ended up winning, I think. So let's do the math. I would have taken 6% here. I'm at 64%. And then I 2-hit KO, so hold on. I'm at 64, and then let's do some math. 64, I lost 30, so I would have been at 34. And then I would have taken 12% damage there, and I would have died. Most likely. I don't know what the roll is. Let's see, Smart Strike. Mandibuzz, you're +1. Okay, so he got the max roll there. I actually still had a good chance. If I'm at 28% then, it would have been a 50-50. It literally just would have been a coin flip. So if he hit that Toxic, he would have had a 56% chance to win. But since he missed, I just foul played twice and cleaned it up. So, incredible game. Yeah, obviously if he crit me on that last turn too, that would have won. So I was really nervous. Yeah, I mean, GG's, Tyler. Like, definitely, I would say you kicked my butt in prep this week, especially with the Mystic Water Araquanid. That thing was hitting like an absolute nuke. I was chewing over a bunch of things, but both of us decided not to bring any hazards, which was kind of cool. One of the things I was thinking about was running Tailwind on Mandibuzz. But I wasn't really able to get a lot of value out of that in prep. Most of the time I was only getting like 2 turns after using it with whatever else I switched in. Yeah, I guess if I Tailwind at the end of the game, I would have won, but I didn't need defog, but I didn't want to risk that because I figured I was going to be doing a lot of switches and I needed to get the hazards off quick. So that was our first game. That was a really, really solid game. Excited to possibly see him again in the playoffs. All right, MJC versus Joe. Yeah, so this is like the 2 most opposite teams in the league. MJC just has all these absolute demons with speed boosts and shell smash and dual screens Klefki. Obviously Azelf is super fast, and then Ferrothorn's super annoying to play against. I was in a call with E and Tommy when this game was going on, and like as soon as we saw team preview, I was just like, Torkoal wins. Like Torkoal just absolutely obliterates this entire team. Now, MJC played very well and got the light screen up and was able to get like a Toxic on it and was able to mitigate how much damage the Eruption was doing. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. But yeah, Torkoal just has like a beautiful matchup against him. All right, yeah, let's just get into it. Joe brought double Trick Room with P2 and Executor. Yeah, he was talking about just leading Aleki basically regardless of whatever Matt brought and Volt Switch out. Right here, tough play on Matt's end. You don't have a good fire answer, right? So like, you don't want to switch Azelf into like a Draco Meteor. Klefki obviously doesn't want to eat a flamethrower and might be more valuable than Ferrothorn overall. But not having Ferrothorn just really opened the door for Rillaboom as well. I mean, it was tough. Bringing fire coverage was a good call. Bandit Azelf doing 65% with U-turn is nuts. And then Joe, I talked to Joe about this, bringing a Brick Break in case he was bringing Weavile that would one-hit KO it since he's running a quiet nature. But it also, ends up taking care of the screens, and Joe didn't even realize that in the moment. He was like, oh, what? Screens are gone. So yeah, he gets... I think that was a little bit of a misplay. I don't think he needed to go for the Trick Room there. What he probably could have done, which would have saved the Toxic on his Torkoal, is just Brick Break, again, to guarantee the screens don't go up that turn. Yeah, I don't know. Scolopete's a really tough switch in there if you're predicting the flamethrower on the Klefki. Because he was kind of alternating Brick Break and that, but I don't know. If I was Matt, I would have expected the Brick Break, and I probably just would have went Scolipede. And if I was Joe, I probably would have Brick Breaked 100% of the time to guarantee that Klefki doesn't get the screen up. Yeah, I don't know. But Trick Room's not the worst thing, because Torkoal's going to be able to outspeed everything afterwards. Plus, Dying to Poison allows him to use all 4 turns of it, which is actually really cool. Toxic hitting is huge here. Going to lower the power of the eruption. Right here, pretty massive crit. Torkoal was at 94%. Yeah, so I think the role with... So crit goes through screens is basically what's going on. He was choice specs and he was quiet versus a Blaziken in the sun. Erupt. Okay. And then, yeah, light screen, it's supposed to do that much. But you crit it, and that mattered. So, yeah. Yeah, pretty crucial crit, because, I don't know, Matt would have probably been able to stall out a little bit more at the Trick Room, and then kind of play from there. So, yeah, Azelf comes in. Since he took 2 turns of toxic damage, he was able to live through the light screen, blows up, takes care of him. And I think that was the right call. Azelf wasn't really going to beat a whole lot else. So here, I didn't even realize it. I think Tyler may have been the only person other than Joe to realize the Trick Room was still up. That obviously wasn't Matt. I totally didn't even realize that because of the sun and the light screen. Like, I didn't even realize Trick Room was up. So he goes into Regieleki here instead of P2 and just dies to a Icicle Spear that got a crit on the first turn. We can see from the damage here that, like, if he got 119%, he wasn't getting any 21%. Aleki would have been able to take it if he didn't get crit on that first one. So, pretty important there. But yeah, Banded Rillaboom, going to be able to knock it out with Grassy Glide. I didn't see what set he was running. Obviously, it wasn't Stash. It was probably like...
no, you were so cute.
I don't know. It was probably like White Herb or something. Or maybe a Resist Berry. Okay, so right here, Scolpy comes in. I was screaming in the Discord call for Joe just to go into Porygon. Like, going for Grassy Glide continuously against Scolipede was like an extremely risky way to just throw the game away. Because if he got up to +3, he was going to be able to probably take on Porygon 2. Depending on how much Grassy Glide was going to end up doing, he may have been able to live an Ice Shard as well from Mamo. Yeah, just, no, that was just, should have went P2. Now, the Mega Horn miss here was pretty huge. I would like to say Joe would have just went into P2 anyway on the next turn. So Matt probably should have just went for the SD anyway, predicting the switch. But now he starts setting up, because Grassy Glide's only doing 29%, plus he's getting Grassy Terrain recovery. And I'm like, bro, just switch to P2, and he's not doing it, and I'm freaking out. And so right here, yeah, he just goes for the Grassy Glide again and crits, and that's it. So, didn't end up mattering. But yeah, you can see me just being so stupid and not even realizing the, I thought it was Scarf Cloyster, because it was faster than Aleki, but it was actually Trick Room, so. But GG's, I think Matt had a really tough matchup here, because of just the makeup of Joe's team has a lot of good counters to the Speed Boost Pokemon. You know, nothing you can really do about that. Maybe just not bring the Speed Boosters, or... I don't know. I don't really know exactly what I would have done on Matt's end. I may have brought probably another Aleki Resist, because he only had Ferrothorn to be able to take electric attacks, since he doesn't have any ground type. So I was thinking Xurkitree would have came, but it would have taken a lot still from Volt Switches and stuff. But yeah, that was a really good game. That was really, really fun to watch. Dodge and Tommy. 3rd game of the week. I helped Tommy with some prep this week. Our main concern was Belly Drum Azumarill. I figured it's week 4, it's about time for Dodge to bust out the Belly Drummer, and nothing on Tommy's team was going to appreciate it. Anything that was faster than Azumarill either couldn't kill it back in one hit, or couldn't live in Aqua Jet, with the exception of Thundurus. He ran a really physically defensive, bold-natured Thunderous that was able to take up to 98% from Aquajet, or maybe like 99, and then just kill back with Thunderbolt afterwards. So the plan was if he ever got a belly drum up with Azu, then Thunderous comes in because it's got heavy-duty boots, won't take rocks damage, and then, Tommy just sacks one thing to get it in. Azu's dead. So at most, the belly drum will claim one Pokemon, and you just kind of choose from there what would be what you need. I was talking to Tommy about Stoutland. It felt like Diancie was super obvious to come because he has Volcarona, and Stoutland learns Iron Head, so that would have just blown it up. What else we got here? Yeah, Weezing and Celesteela were good Virizion answers. Virizion was another good call. It's faster than Volcarona. Has really good coverage. It's faster than Hydreigon. I mean, with the exception of Weezing, if he got like an SD up or something, nothing would have appreciated it. It probably would have just like swept the game. So Tommy was kind of using Weezing as like a last case scenario for Virizion. Overall, we'll go through the game, but I really think Tommy should have went into Weezing more against Virizion. Just in the instance that he does Swords Dance, you're kind of screwed. If you're with Celesteela and you're at like, I don't know, it was like 80% or like 76% or something, close combat probably would have killed. Yeah, anyway, it was Tommy got some good prep in overall. I think Dodge brought pretty much his optimal team as well. He just made a couple misplays overall. So Diancie into Celesteela. Matt was saying that MJC was saying that Dodge texted him saying he had like a sheet of stuff written down that like, I do not go into this for this, but go into this for that, right? So he was never supposed to go into Diancie against Celesteela. There's nothing Diancie can learn except for maybe Mystical Fire that can do something to Celesteela, but even then that's never going to be like a 2-hit KO. So he goes into Diancie and then just eats a flash cannon to the dome. Not ideal, clearly not ideal. So Diancie's kind of like dealt with. The rest of his team handled Diancie pretty well anyway. Rotom was really scary. I told Tommy always go into Hydreigon on Rotom. The Will-O-Wisp, good call. Let's see here. Yep, just drop a Draco. Worst case scenario goes into Azu, but then you can just Earth Power from there and then play around it. Celesteela, so I wanted Tommy to use Weezing a little bit more, his defensive pivot this week. The only concern with going Celesteela on Scissor is that you lose, you could possibly get knocked off and lose your leftovers. Getting knocked off on Weezing's whatever, because it's got a Rocky Helmet. You're not getting any health back or whatever, but going Celesteela, like, it helps because you have like coverage for Scissor overall, but I don't know. I think the risk of the knockoff was a little too much for me to want to keep like switching it in like that. I don't even think Tommy went into Weezing this game. But yeah, he reveals Flamethrower, telling Scissor he's not safe anymore. Gets a little lucky on the dodge with the Hydro, but it was at most, if he was Specs, going to do about 40%, so not that important. Dark Pulse was pretty free. He should have been a little scared about Virizion. Virizion's such a good answer for Hydreigon. Even defensively with no defense investment, it has such a high base special defense that it can just live anything generally. So going for Dark Pulse there and boosting its attack was a little bit of a misplay, but thankfully Dodge just ended up sacking Diancie for Tommy's sake. Arrow's a threat. I didn't agree with this play on Tommy's end. You got Weezing. Weezing with Levitate walls the crap out of it. Like, just go into that. Ice Punch was a good middle ground play. Able to hit Arrow and Virizion on the switch. Tommy just was never going to go into Weezing. Just don't understand it. It ended up working out, but... Yep, here we go. Just getting some more chip on Rotom. I don't know if it was running Pain Split at all, but now that it's switched out, it only has 2 more switches because of rocks. Yep, Earthquake was a good call here on Azu. I don't know what... I guess Dodge was expecting Stoutland there, but I can't. I don't know. I don't really think Brick Break would have done significantly more than like a liquidation or a waterfall onto Stoutland. And liquidation or waterfall would have done more against everything else on his team. So I wasn't really expecting the Brick Break there. I don't even think Tommy went Stoutland or Wheezing all game. But yeah, Swampert can just, yeah, he can just sit in front of Arrow and take anything and knock it out here. Alright, Virizion comes in. I'm like, go Wheezing. He doesn't go Wheezing. And then in prep, Tommy had this infatuation with clicking Protect. And every time he did it, I would call it and just SD up with Virizion and then just like sweep from there. And so he's all good taking that out. And then I don't really understand that switch on Dodge's end. I mean, it worked out because he clicked Air Slash and, you know, had to sack road him anyway. But, like, you literally just took 6% from rocks just to take 6% more on the next turn. Unless you were thinking Celesteela was going to switch out, but it's, you know, it's kind of been consistently a really good answer to Virizion. So I don't know. I think just staying in with Virizion and maybe just trying to get some damage off would have been a better play. I know you were lower on defense because of the close combat, but even from this, without taking any damage, you're still going to die to an Air Slash. Yeah, then Tommy just clicks Protect, and I'm like, oh my god, what if he SD'd? And then he didn't. Let's see, I think he just goes Scissor here, takes an Air Slash. And I think Celesteela just kind of sweeps from here. Even though these are all physical attackers and he's boosting special defense, he's just so bulky anyway that he's able to do it. Let's see. And once again, just clicks Protect. It's like, dude, he can just SD in your face. But it ended up not mattering too much. Celesteela is just going to sweep him from here. Yeah, didn't go Thunder, Stoutland, or Wheezing this game. Didn't really need to. Celesteela, Swampert, and Hydreigon weren't really pressured that much offensively because he never had Hydreigon in front of like Virizion. But yeah, I think oh yeah, that's Dodge saying he looked at the wrong thing and just totally sauced his Diancie switching into Celesteela. But I mean, yeah, shit's gonna happen like that. But yeah, I think Dodge brought a pretty optimal team here. It was just a really hard matchup against Tommy's team overall. I don't know, maybe like a Dragon Dance Dragonite or something would have been solid. I don't know, kind of tough to really piece that one together. It's also tough because Dodge doesn't have any ground types, and his only electric resists are Virizion and Venusaur on his team. So like if Tommy really wanted to, he probably could have used Thundurus as a little more of like an offensive threat. But yeah, okay, we'll just go on to the next game. That was a really fun one to watch as well. Really painful in my butthole watching Tommy not switch into Wheezing and clicking Protect in front of Virizion, but what are you going to do? Alright, last game was E versus Berg. Talking to Berg before this match, the main threats on E's side we were looking at, Zapdos matched up so well against his team overall. I think I think Zapdos, like, even with what we kind of talked about bringing, he really had to get a good call on like a double or something to be able to knock it out. Overall, Berg's team handles his team pretty well. Lycanroc was a good call on East side, so he didn't get swept by like a Belly Drum Charizard. Even though Lycanroc doesn't have the best matchup overall here, it's still useful. It could Excel Rock into Victini, it could Stone Edge, Rotom. I don't know if he was running Earthquake or CC or whatever, but he'd be able to hit Cobalion with that too. Yeah, I like E's team comp here a lot. Defensive Zapdos, along with having Gyarados, is like some good pivots against Berg. Really good call. Yeah, so first turn, We're still working with Berg about getting the typings right and everything. Throws away the Cabalion right there. I'm sure he wasn't expecting Heat Wave on Zapdos, but that is pretty common for it to be running. Berg gets a nice little dodge on the Hurricane there, and then the Mimikyu switch here is good. Berg should have went into Corviknight next. Corviknight's a defensive beast, and Steel typing would kind of negate anything that Mimikyu really wants to do, at least with like Fairy Stab. Victini's a good switch though on a Fairy type move. Here Berg should have U-turned, but he wasn't aware of the Disguise ability. Yeah, so he just kind of went all in with the V-Create and only did the 10% from the Disguise. But yeah, he should have just went into Corviknight at any point here. Corviknight's your answer, or going into Tentacruel. If you Sludge Bomb, you're fine, but he went for the Scald, didn't get the burn, and it didn't kill as well, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Berg tried his best from here to kind of like play around it. Ended up getting the kill on Mimikyu from some recoil, but he was kind of far behind here, and not having a Scarfed Flygon for Dragapult specifically was going to be tough. Yep, right here Berg should have roosted, but we talked about that. He ends up getting the dodge on the next Fire Blast and roost here anyway, so like the point of roosting on that first one is to guarantee yourself in this situation, because either Dragapult's going to run out of Fire Blasts or it's going to miss. There's not really any in between there. Made a really good stack here with Tentacruel, but then unfortunately went back into Corviknight on the next turn to die to a Flare Blitz. Yeah, Victini is trying to one-man army from here. Thunder Punch is a good mid-ground, but he doesn't have the speed to outrun a Dragapult at that point. So, yeah, quick game. Talk to Berg about some of the plays. I'm just gonna keep working with him about getting his switches right and everything, and I think he definitely played that one better than the last 2 weeks, 100%. So Berg, if you're watching this, kudos to you. You're still making your misplays here and there, but like I'm not expecting anybody to be playing perfectly, and it's super easy for me to retroactively tell you what your best move was, opposed to in the moment. Cough, cough. My game versus MJC, I fucked that one up. So, yeah, no, just we're gonna keep working on that and keep it rolling through the next couple weeks. So, all right, that's everything for us so far. Let me zoom in a little bit here. All right, next week we got Pano versus Berg, Joe versus Dodge, Tommy versus MJC, and Paul versus Tyler. Gonna be some really fun games, actually. Yeah, this is gonna be really cool. The Paul versus Tyler one's going to be cool because that's going to be the the preparation matchup of the season, honestly. Both of them have been kicking butt in prep, so yeah, all right. Keep working on getting your kill leaders higher, because that's our first tiebreaker. And we'll just keep rolling through this right now. That's what the playoffs are kind of looking like. Houston in the 1 seed versus Berg. We got Matt versus Matt, me versus Tommy, and then Joe versus Paul. All right, let's keep it rolling, boys. See you next week. Peace.